Hello, everybody. Welcome to Last Week in AOE. I am your host, Hawk, here to take you through everything that happened in and around AOE for the last week. Just before we get into the match reports, just want to give some general personnel updates. First of all, the Kings GFX has officially joined AOE Esports as a GFX artist, which I'm personally very excited about the inclusion of him. I think his work is absolutely excellent. So very excited to welcome the Kings to sort of the content creation side of things. Also, Fizzy moved out of the support role for the AOE main squad into a coaching role for AOE randoms alongside Incon, which is extremely exciting. And coming up to replace him was Zyko in the support role for AOE main. So welcome, Zyko, and congratulations to Fizzy as well for changing up his position. And just to start off the match reports for this week, we did have two AOE matches that were played off stream this week. First of all, in UML regular season, we had Zoomers going up against Longhorn Gaming Peach, unfortunately falling in a close 1-2 series, but I'm sure they'll be bouncing back ready for blood next week. Likewise, we had AOE God Squad facing off against Sparta Prime in the Excellency Heavy League quarterfinals, making it to the playoffs in Heavy League after coming in second place in Mid League. Congratulations to them. Unfortunately, they did fall 0-3 to Sparta Prime, who moved on to the semifinals. So God Squad's season in Excellency is over, but I'm sure they'll be back next split in Heavy League, looking to take more games. This team is on the up and up, and they've been here as long as I've been here, and I've only seen them get better and better. Now, before we move into Proving Grounds for the rest of the video, we do have one more match to cover, and it is AOE Obsidian up against Evermore Dragons in the Legends Esports semifinals, taking home a banger of a 5-game series. I mean, absolutely insane. Winning the series 3-2, moving on to the finals in Legends Esports. The top side triangle for this team just played out of their minds, and it all culminated in this final fight that you see here, with Kassadin just blowing everybody up in the enemy base, taking home the series. Absolutely incredible stuff for AOE Obsidian, and for those of you that may have been following it, we're not going to cover it in this video, but they did take home the finals 3-1 as well, winning the second championship for AOE in the organization's history. So massive congratulations to AOE Obsidian, taking home the championship, taking home the semifinals. Championship will be covered in a later video. Now, for the remainder of the video, we will be covering EGL, the latest tournament and the third tournament in the Summer Tier 2 Proving Grounds circuit, where both AOE Randoms and AOE Main have been competing throughout the group stage. Starting it off, we do have AOE Randoms taking home a 2-0 dominant victory over Supernova, where we really saw some cool unorthodox stuff coming out. Zig's bot being a huge factor for this team in their win. Kind of the way that the pick worked forced Supernova to play the game differently around the pick, and Supernova did not really adjust to it very well, which led to a massive pressure advantage throughout the game. Also, Leo99 going big in game 1, and Josie popping off on the Viego in game number 2 as well. We can just see it on screen. This is game 1. AOE, they're actually behind at this point, but Josie just getting the kill off of a nice pocket hook over the wall. Ragnarok doesn't matter. Really good stuff from randoms. And as you see, Josie on the Xin Zhao playing something that's not Diana or Rumble or Udyr, which, you know, you like to see him branching out, and as I said as well, playing the Viego in game number 2. So different picks coming up for Josie, making the team look really good. Now we got the final fight. Supernova pushed into their base. The Nautilus looking like paper right there as Leo blows him up on the Tristana. This guy is a Tristana wizard. There's really nothing else to be said about it. I mean, just really impressive stuff. AOE Randoms, easy 2-0 victory over Supernova. Alongside randoms on the first day of Proving Grounds, we had AOE Esports competing up against 100 100X in the group stage. Unfortunately, they did end up falling 1-2. Also, busting out the Ziggs pick in game number 1 and looking really good with it. We can see a fight around it this time. We got a nice flank coming on the backside from Dark Wings, just coming behind Faisal as well, collapsing on them with the Camille Aurelia. Varus is dead before the fight even starts, and then 100X is forced to run away, but Zyko getting in there, making things happen with the Braum, concussive blows going down, earning themselves the dragon. And again, look at the kill score. They got 2 kills in that fight. They were down 10-5 when that fight started, and they were even if not ahead in gold. That speaks to the value of a pick like Ziggs in generating its own pressure. But of course, 100X, they, like any good team would, adapted, banned it out in both games 2 and 3, and AOE tried to continue playing their heavy split push style, but they didn't have the same wave clear AD carry that they did in game number 1, and 100X also adapted their game plan to force more skirmishes and fights around neutral objectives that AOE didn't want to interact in, because AOE's compositions were very much about having tempo around the map, so forcing them into difficult situations, such as the one you will see on screen, 100X. They decide to force Baron here in game number 3. Darkwings makes the call to continue pushing on the bot side of the map. AOE, they come to contest. Really big meme. Going to try to make a big flash steal. Doesn't quite get it, though, and gives his life in the process. Baron empowered recalls coming through. 400X means that there's not really any chance for Dark Wings. And it just makes for difficult situations when you're not able to split push the way that your team wants. And I think the Ziggs, as a pick, was a big catalyst for it. Darkwing's going to lose his life down here. You know, it's just so much pressure. But now your mid laner's dead, your jungler's dead, and 100X, they've got Baron, and they've got a mid lane wave, and eventually they will indeed walk it down and take down the AOE Nexus after cleaning up the final fight. And coming into day 2 of the EGL group stage, we do have AOE Randoms facing off against Dignitas Mirage in a grudge match. I'm sure you guys remember last week when I covered the match that Randoms had up against Dig Mirage in Risen Champions League, punching their tickets to quarterfinals with a nail-biter of a 2-1 victory. This time around, Dignitas Mirage, though, gets their revenge. Randoms falls 0-2 in a shocking defeat. Randoms looked just a little bit predictable in that one. Viego and Diana picks likewise getting punished by Cyber's Lee Sin. I said it last time around. I'm going to say it again. Cyber is a very good jungler, and when he gets a comfort pick like Lee Sin, he will absolutely make you pay. Also, the Ziggs pick that we've talked about for both teams being so influential in day 1 of group stage was banned in both games by Dignitas Mirage, not given over to Short Hop in either one, making it a difficult series. And I think the fight that's about to play out on screen just sums it up. Dignitas, they adapt to the heavy engage style of Randoms, and the counter engage coming through from the Xayah and the Nico is just immense. One-shotting 3 members. Jax teleports in, it doesn't matter, and Short Hop not even there. So Randoms now sitting at 1-1. They must either defeat Zeus, which for those of you who have been following the Proving Ground circuit, that is a very tall task, and it doesn't even guarantee them quarterfinals should they win. Or they must hope that Supernova defeats Dignitas Mirage, which is also kind of questionable considering Dignitas Mirage looked pretty on form up against Randoms, and that would force a 3-way tiebreaker between the 1 and 2 teams at the bottom for quarterfinals. And finally, we do have the last match of EGL Day 2. AOE Esports took on Glaive, taking a 2-1 victory over Glaive. The 1 in parentheses, of course, because AOE, I believe it was Darkwings, was having some issues with his computer, so AOE was forced to FF game number 1, but swiftly defeated Glaive in the next 2 games. And it simply came down to, as you can see, AOE just team fought better, pincering onto Glaive around the Dragon. Gwen on the back line doing so much damage. Glaive making the call to stick on the Dragon. They get onto Soul Point, but it doesn't matter because they're all split up. And if you look at the composition, Kha'Zix, Gwen, Jace, that's what AOE wants to do. They want to split you apart. They want to drive a wedge through your team and kill you all. really impressive performance. Really big meme in particular, having an amazing series this time around. The entire top side triangle for AOE Sports, individually, one of the most talented top side triangles in Proving Grounds you'd have to imagine. And then you've got Sketch Dreams at 80 carry. This guy is just so consistent as well. AOE just looking good. The final fight coming through. Solar Flare knocking everybody down. Rakan going in. Doesn't matter. Just going to go down. AOE looking good. Look at that Pop Blossom. What is that? Nothing. No damage at all. Gwen doing Gwen things. 200 years champion in the backline. 1v2 under the Nexus turrets. Does go down, but AOE taking the essentially 2-0 victory. Extremely well played to them. And now they have a showdown against Maryville for the ticket into quarterfinals. Maryville fell to 100x. 100x actually sitting 2-0 in that group. That means winner take all in this series. Maryville is a very formidable opponent, but shocking things have already happened in this group stage. It's a little bit closer than the teams may have bargained for. So AOE, I'm sure they're going to be looking for their redemption to make it to their third consecutive quarterfinals. And that'll do it for last week in AOE. Stay tuned for a video highlighting Obsidian's win in the Legends Esports League. Be sure to tune in next week for last week in AOE. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been your host, Hawk. I'll see you next time.